Hey everyone and welcome. So today we're going to dive into a philosophy that, well, pretty much everyone thinks they get it. But what if I told you it's been misunderstood for, about 2,000 years? Yeah, I'm talking about Epicureanism. It's time to peel back all those layers of confusion and find out what Epicurus was actually talking about. So when you hear that word, Epicurean, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For most of us, it's probably images of these giant, lavish feasts, right? Fine wines, fancy food, just this constant chase for luxury and pleasure. That's the popular image, isn't it? A whole philosophy just dedicated to indulgence? But what if that whole picture is just wrong? Like, completely off the mark? Because, the real deal, the original philosophy from back in ancient Athens, it's not about excess at all. It's actually this incredibly deep and, frankly, sophisticated guide to living a good life. And honestly, it might be more relevant right now than it has ever been. Okay, so first things first, we have to clear the air a little bit. We're going to debunk this myth that's been hanging around for literal centuries. See, people have been mixing up Epicureanism with just plain old hedonism forever. But trust me, they are worlds apart. And when you put them side by side, the difference is, well, it's pretty striking. Hedonism, that's just chasing after any and every sensory high you can find, often without really thinking about it. But Epicureanism, that's totally different. It's about cultivating a refined kind of pleasure, experiences that really speak to the best parts of us. And this is the most important part. It is absolutely not a moral free-for-all. Epicurus himself said, and I quote, "It is impossible to live pleasantly without living wisely, honorably, and justly." You see? Ethics aren't some add-on. For him, they were the absolute foundation of a happy life. All right, so if the goal wasn't just mindless partying and endless pleasure, then what were they really aiming for? What was the big prize? Well, the answer is something so much deeper, and let's be honest, something way more desirable. They were after a specific state of mind, a state of being that is the bedrock of their entire way of thinking. And that ultimate goal, the shining center of the whole philosophy, is a state they called ataraxia. It's a Greek word, and it basically means a tranquil mind. Think about that. A state of real, profound inner peace. No disturbances, no fear, no anxiety. This isn't that fleeting up and down happiness we're always chasing today. No, this is something stable, something serene, something that's deeply rooted inside of you. And ataraxia doesn't come alone. It has a partner, aponia. And if ataraxia is about the mind, aponia is the other half of the equation. It's about the body. It means a body that's free from pain. So for Epicurus, it was this combination, this total liberation of both your mind and your body that created the perfect environment for real spiritual growth and genuine lasting happiness to really take root and grow. Okay, a tranquil mind and a pain-free body. I mean, who wouldn't sign up for that? It sounds amazing, right? But the big question is, how in the world do you actually get there? And this is where Epicureanism stops being just some abstract philosophical idea and turns into a real, practical toolkit for actually living a better life. So, the path to that inner peace is laid out in 5 connected practices. First up, savoring simple joys. This is all about finding something almost divine in the little things, A good meal, a great conversation. Next, it's about transforming your desires, so you can break free from that cycle of always wanting more. Then, you've got to live in the present, really be here, now, instead of worrying about the future. Number 4 is huge. Question everything, especially all those things society tells you are supposed to make you happy. And last, but maybe most important of all, cherish friendship. Really elevate it to something sacred. Let's zoom in on that idea of transforming your desires, because honestly, this part is brilliant. Epicurus basically sorted all our desires into 3 buckets. First, you have the natural and necessary, things like food, water, a safe place to sleep. These are actually pretty easy to get. Then there's the natural but unnecessary bucket. Think fancy meals, a huge house. They're nice to have, for sure, but you don't need them to be happy. And finally, you've got the vain and empty desires. This is the stuff like fame, power, status. And these are the dangerous ones, because there's no end to them. They just create a black hole of dissatisfaction. The whole point here is, once you learn to tell these apart, you can actually break free from that feeling of always wanting more. And that leads us to what might be the most radical part of this entire philosophy. Just listen to this quote from Epicurus himself. He said that of all the things wisdom gives you for a happy life, the greatest by far is the possession of friendship. I mean, wow. He didn't just think friendship was nice, he saw it as the key to happiness. He even created these amazing communities called gardens where friends would actually live together, helping each other on this journey. See, for him, this wasn't something you were supposed to do alone. It was a shared path, a collective experience. That really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? I mean, today, with social media and so many connections that feel kind of shallow, what would happen if we started treating our friendships differently? What if they weren't just a social thing, but a core spiritual practice? Something we do for our own growth and for the well-being of the people we care about. So all of this brings us to our final and maybe most important point. Why does any of this matter? Why should we, here and now, care about a philosophy that's over 2,000 years old? Well, it's because it offers a powerful antidote to some of the biggest problems we're facing in the modern world. Just think about it. Our culture screams at us to buy more, to always be acquiring stuff. Epicureanism whispers, you can find peace in just having enough. Our phones and screens shatter our focus into a million tiny pieces, right? This philosophy offers a way back to being fully present. It's a real solution for the loneliness so many people feel, and it's even an answer to nihilism, the idea that nothing matters. It tells us that meaning isn't some grand secret out there. It's right here. It's in the simple, amazing experience of just being alive and aware. And that, right there, is the ultimate point of it all. This philosophy isn't about escaping from life's problems. Not at all. It's about looking them straight in the eye, the biggest questions we have. It's a way to take our deepest fears, our fear of death, our fear of suffering, and transform them into understanding and into peace. It's really about learning how to live a full and beautiful life by learning how to face the end of it without fear. So I'll just leave you with this one last question to chew on. Epicurus taught that happiness isn't found by adding more and more to our lives, but by removing the things that get in the way of our natural peace. So in this crazy, noisy, complicated world we all live in, maybe the most radical, the most revolutionary thing you can do to find happiness is to embrace simplicity, friendship, and a quiet mind.